Might be my kids. My kids like to troll me, so yeah. There's that.
I will defend you from your children. All right, you ready to start the show?
Yeah.
All right, let's hit the button and do this. Star Citizen Live, all about Alpha 3.17.2. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live, all about Alpha 3.17.2. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, Disco, Lando, whatever. Welcome to Star Citizen Live. We have the man, the clad in blue, Mr. Todd Pappy with us today.
Yeah.
Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Just stressed, getting ready to move, and all those wonderful things, and then trying to get this patch out.
Getting ready to move. I wasn't going to introduce that, but since you did,
Oh,
where are you moving, Todd?
Moving to be your neighbor, basically.
Hostia, se mueve Top Papi también a United Kingdom.
And Jared in the UK studio. There's going to be so much Fireball. So, we totally ruined the intro to this show. If you're watching on YouTube, skip to right about here. Now, if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of our week, post some questions to our developers. Todd is the Grand Poobah on high. I don't remember. What was your title?
No, it's Star Citizen Live Game Director.
Star Citizen Live Game Director. So basically, he knows everything, and if he says he doesn't, he's lying because he doesn't want to tell you.
Maybe.
We're way off. We're way off track. I do want to say the topic of this week's show is Alpha 3.17.2. If your question is about 4.0 or is about how Earth will be created and rendered in the persistent universe in the time, or where is the Endeavor or whatnot, as many of the questions in the Spectrum thread were this week. Alas, this is not the show for that. Alpha 3.17.2 this week. So we are going to jump right into it. If you have questions and you want to submit your questions live during the show, put them in the Twitch chat with the word question in capital letters in brackets. That'll help me pull it out. But remember, on topic for Alpha 3.17.2. So right off the bat, one of the kind of under the radar features of 3.17.2, which is actually really a big friggin' deal, especially for people who've been playing the persistent universe since planets were introduced in 3.0, is the new Planetary AI Nav Mesh, or AI Planetary Nav Mesh, or Planetary Nav Mesh AI, or whatever thing, that allows ground AI to basically populate areas of our planets and moons. This first question that was voted up in the thread says, does the new AI Planetary Nav Mesh in 3.17.2 allow ground AI to fire at player ships with something like an Animus or a railgun? And can they use ground vehicles with the tech as it currently states?
No. So basically what the Nav Mesh...
Puede la IA por el nuevo sistema de Nav Mesh, esto que puedan hacer navegación planetaria y demás, pueden disparar a las... LOL. Pueden disparar a las naves o pueden disparar con un Animus Launcher, con un Animus Missile Launcher o con vehículos y tal, y dice ahora mismo no pueden hacer eso. Han perdido a Top Papi.
Hey, Todd.
Hi.
Justin called and I tried to hang up on him and it interrupted the call. We're having a really good day today. We are really right. So back to me. AI Planetary Nav Mesh allows AI to walk along the planets. Go.
Correct. And then we need behavioral changes in order to actually get the AI to use special types of weapons.
Buenas a todos. Una semana más en el Star Citizen Live.
We'll also need different sizes of nav meshes in order to have like larger creatures or smaller creatures to navigate properly. And then for vehicles, that's a different tech discussion, actually getting them to actually drive around, and it will be extra tech in order to get them to do that.
As is common.
Vamos, que para que la IA pueda atacar a naves desde tierra-aire y utilizar vehículos, todavía falta mandanguita, chavales. Eso es lo que ha dicho Todd.
Sometimes gets lost in all the fun and the hoopla, but it is still a live test environment. So Yep. All right. Let's see. uh, are there any undersung changes you are excited for that the community hasn't made much noise about?
I mean, most of this patch has been all about content, so we're proud of what we have done there. I mean, right now nothing's really popping into my mind. There's things that we did that we necessarily didn't announce and did not announce, and I prefer to keep it that way. I'd rather let the players go and explore and find it themselves.
Yeah. Well, since it's already discovered, things like the snake pit, racetrack and stuff. Yeah, we always one of the interesting commentaries that we see on ISC sometimes is, why aren't you talking about this, and why aren't you exploring this, or why did we discover this in the game? And I think it's always worth reminding folks and remembering that while we absolutely have our duty and our intention to inform the community and discuss the behind the scenes of the project and stuff like this, we are still making a game, and the game is the primary experience that we're creating here. And I say that as a video person. So
Claro, está diciendo Discolando de que, porque le preguntan, oye, ¿cuántas cosas hay para descubrir y tal? O cosas que no habéis anunciado. Dice que siempre que prefiere, dice Tafabi, prefiero que siga de esa manera. Y Discolando dice, pues no hay que olvidarse de que queremos informar de todos los jugadores, pero también que estamos haciendo un juego y queremos conservar esa experiencia de lo que es un videojuego. Entonces también hay sorpresas y creemos que hay cosas que es mejor que los jugadores descubran sobre la marcha.
Exactly.
Se refieren, por ejemplo, al rally, ¿no? Al rally que hicieron en Clio.
That are currently in the list of known bugs for 3.17.2 before releasing it. I'm just going to go to you full screen, and I'm going to go get a
acabo de meter
soda.
una hostia. Le acabo de meter una hostia. La cámara acaba de temblar todo, ¿no?
I mean, it's basically we try to patch it, or we try to fix as many of the bugs as known bugs as that we try to fix as many of the known bugs that we can. But I mean, right now, just because the way that we work and how we're going through everything, like there's too many right now to fix, and then from there, we basically pick out what our hot items are, or anything that we feel is extremely broken. We aim for that to be fixed up the next patch, and then we continually work through that. But this is basically how we work, where we'll go through, we'll fix stuff as much as we possibly can, get the patch out, just because, again, we're trying to hit a date versus all the features are done and completely finished.
I was going to add something snarky, but no, you hit it. You hit that one. So what else we got? What do we got from the live chat here? Anything from the live chat? Is this Chris Roberts? No, this is Todd Pappy.
Yeah.
Can the planetary, from the live chat here, can the planetary nav mesh be reused to navigate ship insides once you have cargo boxes and other stuff lying around?
Are they asking about being able to walk the ship?
Yeah, like could the dynamic nav mesh be just created to make AI suddenly be able to walk through ships and stuff?
Well, I mean, that's the goal. Is basically for.
Bueno, está comentando varias cosas, el tema de los fallos y tal del juego, bueno, pues básicamente está explicando de que ellos tratan de arreglar todos los fallos críticos que puedan, pero no pueden arreglar con todos los fallos ahora mismo, porque el objetivo es otro, el objetivo es seguir desarrollando el juego y tratar de sacar las características que tienen pensadas para cada trimestre, ¿no? Para cada parche. Entonces que simplemente pues se pueden dar el lujo de detenerse a los fallos más graves. Ya sabéis que no estamos todavía en la fase de pulido, ¿no? Lo que sería la fase beta del juego es la fase de pulido, ¿no? De pulido general. Y luego está comentando también el tema del Nav Mesh. Si la tecnología del Nav Mesh, la dinámica, ¿no? Esa forma de la que se puede adaptar al terreno y demás, si se podría utilizar también para lo que es a bordo de una nave y que se genere esa malla dentro de una nave. Y dice que sí, que ese es el objetivo de futuro, de que esa tecnología pues se pueda utilizar en ese tipo de escenarios también.
The way, or even find a new way around.
You absolutely know cargo box baby gates are
Yep.
going to become
it's
very prevalent.
it's something. Well, I mean, we see it now with gurneys or other things. So yeah, completely understand.
While we're on the topic of AI here, can you go into detail about what you're doing to help the FPS AI be less bad for 3.17.2?
Basically, well, there's a couple of things that happened.
And why don't we talk
part
about
of
the
it
cause of it, and then you can talk about.
Yeah.
what you mean.
Well, I mean, there's kind of like the player and AI networking changes that have gone in. And so this was roughly about 6 to 8 months worth of work from Daniel Wilson. And it's basically before it was very dependent on the server frame rate and latency, and now what we did was we actually decoupled it. So, and it really kind of breaks down into two things: interpolation and extrapolation. So interpolation is basically smoothing out the data from the server that we've received from the server, and then extrapolation makes up the information in case we don't get an update from the server in that time frame. So basically what it leads to is less desync, better dealing with lower server frame rates, better looking remote movement. Now it's still a work in progress. They're still tweaking it, and they'll improve it as soon as we go live, just because the live servers behave differently, because they're heavier.
More
Oh my
heavy,
goodness,
more heavy.
more heavy loaded. Oh my goodness, I can't speak today. Versus the Evocati servers. So we'll go through and we'll adjust things and make sure that how it runs in the future is basically tuned and tweaked based off of it. So from there, what we're also having issues with is basically there were some modifications that went in, and so for persistent indie streaming, and now we're looking at the server frame rates and trying to make sure that everything is basically being changed and adjusted, because right now our server frame rates are running under certain loads that basically the AI do not play well with. So anything that's lower than a certain frame rate, basically we're getting desync, bad server frame rate, behavior updates. So lots of the behaviors have been updated and rebuilt for S42, and once those are in a good state, then we'll move them over to the PU.
Vale, están hablando de qué cosas se pueden hacer para mejorar el tema del comportamiento del IA, o qué cosas están haciendo ahora, y de entrada han trabajado en el tema del comportamiento de las redes, de cómo responde el cliente y el servidor. Separándolo en dos formas, lo llama interpolación y extrapolación. Interpolación serían los datos que ve del servidor, y extrapolación la clave que corresponde a cada parte de ese dato de servidor, parece ser, o algo así. Lo que está diciendo al final es que el problema ahora mismo es que las correcciones que ellos hacen con la IA en cuanto a lo que es los servidores de Vocati rinden mucho mejor, porque los servidores de Vocati pues parece que tienen mucha menos carga de trabajo. Seguramente sea por esto lo digo yo, ¿no? Seguramente sea por la concentración de la gente en lugares en vez de estar tan esparcida por ahí. Y comenta de que el tema el problema es que ahora mismo, pues a partir de cierto refresco de los servidores, tirando hacia la baja, la IA no responde bien, ¿no? Algo que ya sabemos, y algo que pues que se supone, esta parte también la comento yo, se supone pues que tendremos con el server mesh, se supone que se aliviará bastante, y veremos a ver si se consigue mejorar esa frecuencia de actualización de los servidores, ¿no? Que comentaban en un momento de que el objetivo era que se refrescara 30 veces cada segundo y que ahora mismo en algunos casos estaba consiguiendo 5 o 7 veces por segundo y que eso pues hacía que la IA o ciertas cosas en el servidor, el desync, fuera un desastre en general también.
The AI is trying to do there, whether it's actual reinforcements or the AI is actually going in and trying to pick up a package or trying to deliver something. So right now we're using it as reinforcements just so that we can bring some tension, to some of the scenarios that we're doing. But in the future, like this tech will actually be used in multiple different ways.
And we have a follow-up to the dropship question. Will the AI dropships be able to transport players? Like can players board the AI dropship and then wait for it to take off and see if it takes them somewhere?
Right now, no, that's not the plan. The plan is really just to get them kind of coming in as reinforcements, and then from there, we'll figure out how we want to adjust it.
El tema de las naves de despliegue, tipo Valkyria y demás, de momento se usarán solo para los refuerzos, porque un jugador pregunta si vamos a poder, si habrá algún tipo de misión, abordemos una nave y nos lleve a tal sitio. Dice que de momento eso no es el plan. El plan actual es...
it should follow and it should go, to wherever they were going to next. But I mean, right now that's not the goal.
Claro, ahora mismo no es el objetivo, ahora mismo es que sí van para hacer los refuerzos y de ahí ya se moverán otras cosas más adelante.
In the chat asking when Wave 2 PTU, when go to live, as other folks are pointing out in chat, the answer to every when question is always the same. It's when we think it's ready.
Yeah.
It's just it's an alchemy of players in the PTU now testing and developers working behind the scenes to find and smash bugs and resolve issues, and there's no easy way to predict when everything just kind of coalesces. It's when we think it's ready, it'll move into the next step, whatever that next step is.
Once it's stable enough with a lot of some of the stuff that we're doing.
Yes, and going back to that second question about whether all the bugs are being once it's stable enough is the absolute right word there. It's because remember, every level of Star Citizen, even live, is a testing environment. So.
Well, and I think about it like onions. And onions have layers, so like we're just peeling off layers. So like as soon as we get things stable enough, then it might be revealing other gameplay issues, and then we fix those, and then it might reveal other crashes that we're dealing with. So onions or parfaits, whichever choice you want.
What do you think, chat? 12 or 24 hours before there's a Kotaku article that says Todd Pappy says Star Citizen is an onion. What's the over-under?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do one more AI dropship thing before we move on. In this patch, will AI be able to walk off the ships after the dropships land?
Yeah, they should. And if they don't, it's a bug.
Esto es bastante interesante. Está diciendo, en este parche, las naves de despliegue, la IA debería ser capaz de bajarse de la nave. Dice, sí, debería de poder hacerlo. Si no es así, es un bug. Aparte de eso, está diciendo de para cuándo.
Any additional quanta instances for more commodities in 3.17.2?
Está comentando de que además de para cuándo saldrá el live y todo eso, bueno, pues para cuando esté lista y demás, y dice, pues Star Citizen es como una cebolla, a medida que vamos pillando capas, vamos descubriendo nuevos fallos, nuevos errores, y así hasta que llegamos al asunto, ¿no? Y ya está. Y han bromeado un poco con eso la cebolla y ya está. También le he preguntado si aunque sería para Tony, si habrá más commodities. Si habrá más commodities asociadas al Quantum o no en estatal, y dice que de momento que no.
Let's see. I got some mission questions here. When the player can do a single mission solo that rewards 50k or 100k or 200k AUEC, Has CIG considered making other jobs like hauling cargo and mining more profitable, so putting the time into them rewards more than doing almost no risk shooting, missiling NPCs with a free white undersuit? What's your thoughts?
Basically, for cargo and mining, like I still view them as basically like a squashed mission, like or a squash game loop, just because for in particular like cargo or long hauls, like we're expecting that you're traveling through at least one solar system, if not multiple solar systems, and then the danger that would be included in that should be how we basically pay that out, and then we've got elements like when you're talking about mining, like right now the mining loop is I go spawn the ship, I go out, I mine, I take it to a refinery.
Está diciendo, ¿habéis pensado en hacer la carga o la minería algo que recompense de forma equivalente al combate, que no tienes ningún riesgo más que simplemente por lanzar unos cuantos misiles y ya? De recompensar el tiempo que se invierte minando, además. Y dice que, claro, que de momento lo ven como una especie de calabaza, lo define así, en plan, tanto la minería como el cargo, que todavía no. Y se refiere como que lo ven todavía como una movida ahí puesta, pero que no está todavía finalizada, ¿no? Porque comenta que en el momento que haya más sistemas estelares o pues en ese momento es cuando pues cuando podrán definir más zonas de peligro o cambiará el tema, ¿no? Y será pues otro tipo de historia con esas profesiones. Que esas profesiones para desarrollarse necesitan más espacio, ¿no?
Alpha 317.2 introduced our brand new derelicts, made with a new pipeline by a new team and stuff like that. With salvage right around the corner, was any thought being given to whether these new derelict POIs would be salvageable?
Yeah, yes, there has been. So basically the way that we break it down internally and think about it is that there's really three different types of derelicts. There's inhabited, which basically will not be dynamically generated or anything like that. Then we've got some of our other stuff that will be dynamically generated, which are like the fresh and what we would consider even old. So fresh would be like it's a smoking wreck. There's you can go in there, you can get items removed, you can go in there and hull scrape, you could possibly even munch it, and then there's the old ones, which would be you probably have limited item removal just because of the age or wear associated with those items. And then we'll need to see how they visually look, but my gut feeling is probably no hull scraping on it. And then,
Está comentando los nuevos Deli, los nuevos pecios que hemos visto. ¿Habéis pensado si si se va a poder chatarrear en ellos? Y dice que en un principio pues tienen definidos dos grupos, uno que serían los estáticos y que digamos los que tienen gente viviendo, los que están habitados, que de alguna manera pues eso no serían generados de forma dinámica, que se considerarían y luego pues estarían los que sí se generan de forma dinámica, que serían considerados como los frescos, y los otros serían los antiguos, ¿no? Entonces que quizás algunas partes sí podrían ser recuperadas, pero no, definitivamente no el sacar placas del casco o demás. Tienen algo que valorar, pero la idea es, para chatarrear de verdad, la idea es esos pecios dinámicamente generados, esos naufragios, ¿no? Dinámicamente generados es el objetivo para poder chatarrear.
Great for what I have in my ship, pulled out of the wreck of an old ship. They're not going to use it anymore and stuff. That's
yeah,
I'm allowed to have.
That's where we're heading.
That's what I want. All right, we've done some basically some softball questions here. Let's get to some of the real meaty ones. Will the double dogs have more sustenance when eating than the plain single hot dogs?
If they don't right now, I'll have a designer take a look at it and adjust it.
It got voted up.
Okay.
Don't blame me, people.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Los proyectos calientes dobles alimentarán más que el único y dice que es algo que tendrán que llevar a tal.
Has there been any discussion to lowering the atmosphere of Crusader so that quantum traveling out or even in and getting there can be done sooner than it currently is?
Yeah, it has been. And basically, we've looked at it from a couple of different ways, but basically, we have the tasks on one of our team's backlogs. It won't happen in 3.17.2, but I'm looking forward to happening soon. But again, I don't want to say it because right now that team is focusing on S42, so I don't want to promise anything that they.
El tema de que se tarde menos en salir de la atmósfera de Crusader es algo que se está planeando y se ha hablado, dice que sí, que se ha hablado de eso, pero ahora mismo el equipo que estaría encargado de eso está ocupado en Escuadrón 42 y que no quiere decir nada de momento.
Are there any teams besides Turbulent working on the PU, or is everyone else working on Squadron 42? It can sometimes seem like that.
I can see how that could happen or how that it can be perceived. Basically, the way it breaks down is that we have teams that solely focus on S42, and we have teams that support both. But those support teams right now are really focusing on S42, and then we have PU specific teams. So currently, we have 3 different feature teams that are PU specific, so USPU, MFT, and EUPU. And those teams are working on like cargo, missions, hull scraping, resource management.
Things like the Siege of Orison's coming.
Yeah, exactly. So those are really what the feature teams focus on and work towards. And then we have content teams. So we have 3 EU content teams, and then basically kind of 1 to 2 content teams in Montreal. So space stations, outposts, underground facilities, derelicts, building interiors, and other kind of points of interest are really their focus. Now each team, takes one of those mandates and runs with those. A lot of the EU teams have been focusing on pyro, and so like with the space stations or with the outposts, those are really their main focuses. And then the underground facilities, that team was kicked off.
Está comentando, hace una pregunta, ¿no? Dice, ¿es el Monreal el único equipo que realmente está trabajando para el universo persistente y el resto está trabajando para Escuadrón 42? Y dice, realmente pues tenemos varios equipos, están la mayoría de ellos, digamos que la mayoría de ellos, dice, hay un grupo centrado, la mayoría de ellos está centrado en Escuadrón 42 y luego hay grupos que son de soporte para tanto el universo persistente como para el Escuadrón 42, y que ahora mismo esos equipos están bastante centrados en Escuadrón 42, los equipos de apoyo a las dos partes, ¿no? Y aparte de eso comenta que tiene como 3 equipos de características que están haciendo cosas para el universo persistente relacionado con la carga, con misiones, con el salvamento, lo que es la chatarra, cosas como el asedio de Horizon y demás. Y aparte luego está equipos de contenido que también están centrados sobre todo en lo que sería Pyro ahora mismo, y uno de los equipos también pues de contenido pues sería Monreal, que es los que están haciendo el tema de búnkeres, el tema de estaciones espaciales.
What they're talking about right now. So if they're talking about the mission ones, right now we have a tech request in, so we technically can't spawn loot crates on those ships right now. So in the future we'll be able to do it, and so that when you're going through the ships you'll be able to pull stuff out and get different loot. But then on the inhabited derelict, it should have that already in, and you can grab things there. Now, it's not really different than any of our other crash derelicts or space station loot gen or anything like that. So it would be pulling from kind of the same database that those are pulling from.
Is it because you can't spawn on a spawn kind of thing?
Basically, yeah. So it's the dynamic spawn of those that is causing us
dynamic
issues.
spawn that can spawn on a dynamic spawn can spawn on
Yeah.
a planet.
Yeah. So it's something that I want to remedy, soon, just because we are moving towards a lot of these instances where we want to dynamically spawn the fresh derelicts or the old derelicts that we talked about earlier, as well as any sort of missions or anything like that.
I love Todd Pappy says, will there be an option to automatically set your avatar to look like Todd Pappy?
My head hasn't been scanned yet, so if it's Jared, or sorry, if it's not you, if it's Jeremiah, then basically they need to put in my eyes still.
Oh, we don't have the tech for that.
Yeah.
My head got scanned back in like 2018, I think. It's buried somewhere.
I figure if they scan my head, I need to like pin back my chin and everything.
Let's see. Is there anything more you can tell us about the artifacts that have been found in this patch? Is archaeology gameplay coming soon, or what's the story here?
Well, I mean, the story is it's really about selling the age of the location and making sure that things that you would find there actually feel appropriate to the time, and what they might have at that time. So like with the derelict outpost that we have right now, we wanted it to feel older. We wanted it to feel different. So that's why we introduced some of the new things. And it's basically kind of gearing up towards pyro as well. So just because, again, for this, we want to make sure that we have a collection of age on these things.
Están diciendo el tema de las reliquias y eso que se pueden encontrar en los outposts. Que de qué va el asunto, ¿no? Dice, bueno, pues el asunto va de que queremos tener una colección de objetos que ayude a reforzar esa idea de que los outposts tienen pues cierta antigüedad y que son antiguos, ¿no? Esas ruinas, y que además es una manera de irse preparando para Pyro con una variedad de colección de objetos de ese tipo.
Proto-economy will evolve out of that and stuff.
Well, and even then, like, we want to have some that are in pristine condition, some that are worn down. It'd be the equivalent of finding, like an old. We have an idea regarding like old toys, or books or liquor, and being able to go through and be able to find the different bottles, or find the different worn down books or toys that might be in pristine condition or broken.
Además, también quieren la idea de
assassinating people.
Está diciendo de que incluso a la hora de encontrar ese tipo de objetos, de reliquias, pues habrá diferentes estados de salud del objeto, por llamarlo de alguna manera. Y pues como por ejemplo, pues que puedas encontrar botellas de licor, libros o pues otros objetos en estado pristino o destruidos. Está preguntando además otro ciudadano elevadores asesinando y demás, y bueno, pues ya sabemos la respuesta. Ajá, básicamente.
Sorry.
What determines the frequency of combat service the new combat service beacon missions? Is it quantum AI, virtual AI, probability volume encounter?
It's quantum. So it's quantum that goes through and basically says, okay, hey, in this area we're going to spawn this many, and then of varying skill levels or varying threat levels, and then from there it basically the servers pick them up, and so, but it is.
¿Qué es lo que hace que aparezcan las misiones de baliza de asistencia? Y dice, pues lo que hace es el sistema Quantum. Que esto es interesante. Dice que el sistema Quantum y que y qué es lo que decide qué tipo de riesgos va a haber en qué tipo de misiones, o sea, qué misiones va a haber en una zona y qué tipo de riesgo va a haber que asumir en esas misiones, la dificultad de esas misiones, y que luego el servidor las escoge de la información que le da el Quantum.
Those are using 3D models in basically 3D printing, or even just any sort of art or screenshots or videos that people put together. We do pass those around internally very much.
We do. I'll verify the last one. Das Runde Wiederek says, when Todd Pappy and Disco Lando bobbleheads? My head bobbles in the videos enough. Like, I can't get past a week in ISC without some smart Alec and YouTube comments talking about how my head bobbles. It's like, I broke my neck in 2000, and it never healed right. Cracked 3 vertebrae, and it keeps it loose. But you keep making fun of me.
You're making them feel guilty.
You keep making fun of me on YouTube. Go ahead. Keep doing it. Enjoy it.
But next patch, just for Jared.
No, because bobblehead heads can only get so big, and you can't have one that's appropriate to my scale. Here's one. There's more and more notifications to dismiss with each update. They're almost constant now. Will we ever be able to filter out some of them?
Yeah, I want them to be filterable. So when we update the notification system and also the HUD, I want there to be the filter, or I want them the player to be able to choose, what they allow in versus what they want to see versus what they don't want to see.
Filtros para las notificaciones, dice que sí, que quiero que seamos capaces de poder hacerlo, que el jugador sea capaz de poder hacerlo.
Expect to see Planetary Nav Mesh in areas other than the new settlements and dropships at this stage, such as bunker external guards and the like?
Yeah. I mean, right now the Planetary Nav Mesh, the AI is, I guess if we let them, and before we were seeing this, they would just go and walk. They want to stay around certain things. So, but yeah, we're going through and we're updating all of the other locations with Planetary Nav Mesh, as well as getting AI around there, and including like dropships coming in or anything like that. So the goal for us with these is basically let's get it working in 1 or 2 areas first, or 1 or 2 scenarios. And what I mean by that is like the outposts to me are a scenario that we put together. Then from there, we'll take it wider and either take it to basically outside landing zones or outside the new outposts, the old high-tech outposts, or the bunkers, or anything like that. So the idea is that we do it once, and then we hammer out a lot of the issues, and then we take it and we go wide with it.
There were Spartan 0214 asks, there were a lot of quick releases for 3.17.2. Is that the cadence you were all looking for, or is it too quick? I'm not sure I understand a lot of quick releases. You just mean the patch updates to the PTU and stuff? It's pretty normal when we have new content or new fixes, we just push them out.
Well, and I mean, part of it is we also watch. What we don't want to do is we don't want to put out a patch kind of every day. So we do watch how often we try to put it out to the Evocati. We do watch how often we try to put it out to Wave 1 in particular. We want to make sure that there's enough sizable fixes that happen between those in order to make sure that what we're pushing out is quality, as well as if there's any sort of it allows us to basically take the feedback and adjust it and fix it Now, I think with some of this stuff, what we were trying to do was we were trying to work through some of the stability issues that we were having. So we'd get these fixes in that we feel would unlock, or basically we were getting a lot of crash errors on just one or two things. Then we would do an update to that and then push it out. So that might be what you're seeing.
Every time we have the vehicle team on, or the actor feature team on, or the graphics team on, we get the same question, and it's here for you today. I'm not going to let you get past it. Zulu Foxtrot asks, will night vision ever be a future feature?
I want it. I want there to be different types of vision. So, and
Vale, está comentando el tema de la IA de la navegación planetaria, que se irá esparciendo por el resto de las zonas de los planetas o del juego. Y aparte, pues la pregunta mítica, ¿no? De qué pasa con la visión nocturna. Dice que sí, que dice Tos Papi, yo la quiero, y quiero diferentes tipos de visión.
mode. So,
Full on Predator
Yeah.
vision.
yeah.
Hey, Jared, are you currently growing your beard to solidify your support for 4.0's release like you did back in 2016 Gamescom for 3.0's eventually December release? No.
Please do.
No. This is Jared moving to the other side of the world transition phase. I'm spending a good deal of my time building the future of ISC and SCL. As well as setting up for this year's birthday stuff. So we're
Just go to one of the English barbers. Like
we will.
fantastic
I
barbers there.
think the way everything is tracking right now, I think the handyman work and stuff that we're doing, I think it's all going to wrap up around the end of September. So I would say in October expect fresh haircut and clean shaven Disco.
2 lamb chops, please.
For the 4 people that seem to care about that stuff. Let's see. With the long road to 318 coming up next, how much support is being dedicated to the maintenance of 317.2 after its release? Is there a small team to hotfix issues as they come up, or is it pretty much all hands on deck for the push to 318?
Well, if there's something that comes up that we need to hotfix, then we do that. So currently, most of the team right now is actually working on whatever task they needed to do. Basically, once we hit kind of the end of the quarter, those teams are allocated to basically start working on other things. So most of the teams have already started to work on that and work towards, basically their 318 goals or basically their Q3 goals. And then from there, if they get a Limus fix or they get anything that basically needs to be looked at, then they jump on that, fix it, and then go back to their current tasks. So with 318, it works just the same way as we worked in the past. Obviously, with the introduction of persistent and streaming, there's a couple other things that we need to basically. We're introducing that into the streams right now, and so the teams will jump on it and fix it and then go from there.
Okay. Yes, we hit 4 million citizens today, or early today, or late last night, and whatnot.
That's insane. I mean, I think that's insane, and thank you all for backing.
Yeah, I just saw the message.
Está diciendo que hemos llegado a 4 millones de ciudadanos y dice Topapi que eso es una locura, gracias a todos por apoyar. Y aparte está diciendo el tema de la gente cuando esté trabajando en la 3.17.2 y se termine el trimestre, pues pasará a trabajar en la 3.18 y no, o sea, y ya todo a saco con la 3.18.
Related to that, you can watch the show. But is it an intended feature that if the player gets crime stat, they lose their chance to pick this kind of new illegal delivery mission up?
No. So I mean, the idea is that these are meant for people that have less than pristine backgrounds. So we want to open these up to different types of missions to like the different types of crowds. So, but basically, if they get a CI or if they get a crime stat, then they should be able to have these. But if they clear the crime stat, then basically you should still be able to access these. It's just that it depends on how much reputation you got going on with another company. So it might be that there's some pulling and pushing that's happening behind the scenes that is keeping you from picking these.
Well, we're talking about crime stat here. Plenty of players are being unintentionally harmed by collisions with each other during on-foot gameplay. Running into a friendly AI may give one crime stat and ruin a play session. There seems to be no reason for collision damage to persist except for fall damage. Have you considered turning off collision damage for players during on-foot gameplay?
We haven't thought about turning it off. I mean, I think this.
Estaba comentando, bueno, la pregunta que les hice sobre las misiones de entrega, la acaba de hacer Driscoll. De las misiones ilegales de entrega parece ser que no deberían de perderse por tener crime stat. Y si te quitas el crime stat tampoco. Yo no sé si... Hay que mirar, hay que revisarlo, porque dice que quizás que hay otra cosa que te prevenga de hacer estas misiones, pero en un principio parece que no hay nada, que me estuviese interrumpiendo la otra vez por hacer las misiones de Red Wing. Entonces, en caso de que eso suceda, pues tendré que reportarlo.
Tied to the mission, tied to these illegal missions, is this a forecast of things to come? More missions tied to reputation, unlocked by reputation, building reputation, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean that's basically how we unlock these branches or these trees. Now some of the trees haven't been created yet. Now, just because we haven't done like specific mission modules, like let's say go in.
Estaban hablando también de la colisión. De que ahora mismo, pues bueno, un jugador diciendo de que efectivamente cuando hay daños por colisión y que a veces pues pasas al lado de un agente de seguridad y la colisión produce daños, eso te da crime stat y se te arruina la partida. Y que han pensado en desactivarlo y tal, lo de la colisión, pero de momento no.
Chat, why not just turn off collision damage until the root cause gets fixed?
Because again, turning off collision damage on this stuff is, I think, will have other knock-on effects that we're not prepared for.
Yeah, physics is at the core of so many.
Claro, dice que desactivar los daños de colisión tendrá otros efectos en cadena que no estamos preparados para asumir.
And stuff. You take out a core, a fundamental system like collision, like that, and who knows what else happens. Plus, it's hard to go back on those things. If it ends up taking months, or if it happens, longer than that to fix, people get used to doing the no collision. Then when you turn it back on, it's like there's all those people that have joined when it was no collision. It's like, oh, you suddenly added collision. And people are like, no, that's how it used to be. And like, no, it is now. It's just.
Well, it's also like right now, I mean, if the player gets into a position that they shouldn't be in and we need to kill them or it damages them, I mean, that's like we need hazardous areas. We need those types of things to basically kind of create tension for the players. Like, if we turn off any sort of basically collision or damage for collision, it might be that we have knock-on effects for fall distances, or players can get into areas that they shouldn't have been able to get into, weasel through walls or anything like that.
Hobby92 says, can we expect anything for Talk Like a Pirate Day this year? No. You mean Talk Like Bobby Driscoll, the actor who played Long John Silver in Disney's 1950 classic, The Treasure Island? It's not how pirates talked. They didn't talk with Cockney accents. They were in the Caribbean. But one actor has one great role in one legendary film, and suddenly all pirates talk like that now? It's a sore spot.
We should. I mean, realistically, Lando in Star Wars should have talked like that. You would have loved it.
I was about to do a like Billy D trying to do a Cockney accent, and like literally, I just had like a fault alarm go off in my head. Like, no, don't. Let's see. It's almost at the end here. Can you give us more details and technical information on the new player and AI networking changes present in Alpha 3.17.2? I'm a techie and I find this fascinating.
Well, I basically did at the start, so, and that was really kind of the interpolation and extrapolation that was done. So,
right.
that all kind of feeds into the same.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
Watch the replay; it's there. Rumors say, "Oh God, who picked a question that started with rumors?" Oh, I already started on it.
Fleetwood McFan.
Now I'm going to have that song stuck in my head for the next couple hours. Rumors say that Quantanium prices are getting nerfed. If true, does this mean that we can expect some other minables to take their place?
Well, we'll do it the dramatic way. Rumors are wrong. We haven't changed it for 2 releases. So, basically...
Los rumores dicen que pueden cambiar los precios del Quantanium, pero dicen que los rumores están mal, que no hemos hecho cambios durante todos estos parches, o sea que no.
Although Neil Simon has a pretty good play called Rumors. It's pretty good. Murder whodunit kind of thing. We already did that one. That's about the ship derelicts being salvaged. Anything you can tell us about the hit registration fixes that are currently being tested on PTU?
They're going in the patch. I mean,
Yay, hallelujah.
Yeah.
¿Qué nos puedas decir sobre los errores corregidos del hit registration? Y dicen, están en el parche y dice y Driscoll, aleluya.
A 30th century Hanzo sword.
Yeah, we got bigger fish to fry. I think right now it's getting some of the there's gadgets that I think need to go in, and basically that team is all focused on S42 right now.
Let's see. We did introduce everybody to the new Interactables team that was just formed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe about the AI Nav Mesh from ArchSite in chat. Does the mesh get generated before the player arrives or when the player arrives?
When the player arrives. So
la generación de la malla de navegación planetaria se genera cuando el jugador llega. No antes de que llegue, sino en el momento que llega se genera.
We've seen some issues with some long distance, sites where maybe the AI aren't getting updated, but these are all things that we got to work out.
Hemos visto algunos fallos en largas distancias donde se ve que la IA no se entera de la movida, pero estamos trabajando en corregir errores.
Folks who have been attending the Bar Citizen events have gotten a card redemption for a Banu Cube. This question from RE91 is, what is the Banu Cube for? What does it do? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think it's just a lore thing that basically they came up with, and then from there we'll need to make sure that there's some sort of gameplay purpose for it eventually. But right now I haven't even thought about it.
Wiso says pre-recorded SCL. They're just reading the Spectrum questions. You got us. All right. We're just about out of time. We got to wrap up a little early this week for other stuff we got to do. Last question. It's a big one. We've hit a couple of the big ones: the night vision question and the AI performance question. Got to ask, what, if anything, can CIG do about combat logging?
I mean, combat logging. I'm assuming that they're talking about logging out.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're assuming. Okay. Let me tell you. Well, I have chosen to spend my night going out there and putting the hurt on fellow humans of the Stanton system.
Well,
I am a pro pilot and a pro ship that's pro kitted out, and I'm putting my talent and skill to the test against people, and right before they're about to die, right before they're about to explode, right before I'm about to achieve my victory, they log out.
Yeah, well, it's the I guess for me it's the logging out, because logging in basically development terms means that we're actually tracking something. Yeah. So for logging out, basically there are plans for it, very similar to other games that have done it in the past, where if you've been in combat for, let's say, the past or within 5 minutes or anything like that, then you've got another 5 minutes before you can log out safely, or 15 minutes. Like we need to be able to sit down and tune that. But yeah, we're very aware of it. We want it worked on soon, and it's something that CR's called out, something I've called out, basically player relations, Tony, so on and so forth. So like it is in the back of our minds. We are thinking about it, and it will be fixed soon.
I think it's important. The PvP question is one of those perennial questions at the core of Star Citizen. I mean, it's not, PvP is not for everybody, and there were certain, with enough star systems and security forces and stuff, there should be a solid, enjoyable experience for people who don't enjoy PvP in this Precision universe. But we do want to serve those folks who do want to play a pirate or a criminal or a bounty hunter against other players and stuff like that, and providing them tools to avoid, or systems rather, to avoid just this very cheap way of alt F4ing and disappearing from the persistent universe, I think is important.
I completely agree.
Okay. I know we don't do one questions, but one. I'm just kidding. All right. Todd is like, this is the last fucking show I'm gonna do.
No. It's the last show I'm doing here. It's the last day in this office.
You're going to be in person next time. You're not going to be able to get away at all.
But even now, this is I came into the office today, and this is the most people I've seen in the office in a long time. Everybody's basically packing up their stuff because they'll be going into the new office soon.
Right. We tend to highlight the new UK office because I'm here, and that's where I am, and it's easy to do. But let's not forget the Frankfurt office is actually moving offices first, and getting their new facility, and it's a wonderful facility. You can read about it in the letter from the chairman a couple months ago and everything, with a big building with a hotel in it and a
Ahora os digo lo que están hablando, que están ya terminando.
It's a really nice facility. I'm happy for them.
Same. I've never seen it. I think all the other directors have gone and seen it, but I knew that I would be moving, so I haven't seen it yet. So either if I'm still here for when they do a little bit of an opening party, then I'll come. Otherwise, it'll be when I travel down here to see the team.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get over there for Gamescom at the end of August. So I'll try to see it then and go to some Bar Citizens and stuff then. It's not a promise or anything, people. I'm gonna try. I'm trying to work it out right now. Todd, thank you for taking the time out of the week to do this and stuff. Again, this is busy time between trying to get 3.17.2 out the door, trying to get 3.18 up and running on PTU. This Battle of the Bricks, which is our big charity live stream event that's happening a week from today. There will be no Star Citizen Live next week. It will be the special Star Citizen community team versus EVE Online community team live stream to raise money for Extra Life. We will be building each other's spacecrafts, or attempting to build each other's spacecrafts. So I got toast in my head, like, don't say you're gonna build it. You're not good. The Star Citizen team has to build a ship that has been chosen by the EVE community team from their game. The EVE team has to build a ship that from Star Citizen that has been chosen by the Star Citizen community team. And in the middle, I have to try to make sure the stream doesn't go down. I'm just an operator on this one, but I don't think I'll be able to not get involved for too long. Thank you so much. Remember, ISC is on hiatus right now. We are coming back from our hiatus on June 28th. We'll have a look at the Centurion, which is the newest vehicle built on the Atlas platform that's coming to Alpha 3.17.2, and some new stuff that's coming in Star Citizen's next patch. I don't want to tell you about it yet. We'll see it when it comes to the show. So for Todd, that's Todd. That way, I'm Jared. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week for the Battle of the Bricks. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Vale.
We should definitely practice using our words before we start the show next time.
Oh my goodness.
we were struggling with words.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Interpolation.
Extrapolation.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we know it's hot. I do this every week, people. This is the extra this is the bonus content.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Oh my goodness. That was horrible.
Qué grandes, cómo se lo pasan. A ver, estaba comentando aquí una cosa aquí al final que me he quedado así medio pensando como un idioto.
It's something that CR's called out today, and this is the most people I've seen in the office
where I are against that.
We're very aware of it. We want it worked on soon, and say the past or within 5 minutes or anything like that, then you've got another 5 minutes before you can log out safely, or 15 minutes. Like we need to be able to sit down and tune that.
Vale, aquí es la duda que tenía y tal, pero que sí, más o menos era eso. El tema, bueno, lo primero, chicos, ya sabéis que cuando estoy haciendo estas cosas pues no puedo atender mucho al chat porque si no me vuelvo loco. O sea, mi cerebro es limitado, es lo que hay, chavales. Aparte de eso, bueno, pues Pijopelo, buenas Bosquito, buena Grafito, buena Guasillo, buena Japegón, Gato y César Roy también están por ahí. Muchas gracias, Monkey, por esa suscripción. Y muchas gracias también a Lotter por suscribirse al canal y por apoyarlo. Están diciendo el tema de que esto es importante, el tema de qué coño pasa con buenas Filser también, que te he visto ahora, y Zan también. Están hablando del tema del desconectarse mientras estás en PvP y tal, y está diciendo, bueno, pues para desconectarse y tal, que el tema de que, claro, de que un piloto pues súper entrenado y tal, que quiere demostrar su habilidad y tal, de repente se enfrenta a un jugador y luego pues simplemente se desconecta y se acabó, ¿no? Y dices, es una mierda, ¿no? Básicamente. Y entonces está diciendo de que pronto, ha dicho pronto, vamos a meter una solución para evitar eso, y que están mirando de ajustarlo, pero que la idea es que si tú has estado en los últimos 5 minutos en combate, para desconectarte tendrás que esperar 5 minutos más. O sea, entonces es como que serían, y dice como, no sé si sabes si en torno a eso, o sea, en torno a 10 minutos al final para desconectarte en general, o ponerlo a 15, que tienen que mirar cómo van a ajustar eso, ¿no? Pero es algo que ya nos habían dicho, de que, oye, si estás en jarana, en jaleo, pues que no te vas a poder desconectar así como así. A ver, te puedes ir, ¿no? Pero vas a palmar como una perra. Obviamente. El Alt F4 pues te deja ahí. Te deja conectado igual. O sea, tu personaje se queda en el juego. No importa, o sea, tú te puedes ir. O sea, nadie te está poniendo una pipa en la cabeza, Mauro, y te dice, o te quedas o te pego un tiro, no. Pero el juego sigue, la partida sigue sin ti. Claro, hombre, es que si no, vaya mierda, tío. Hombre, claro, ¿y luego qué querías, Mauro? ¿Tú qué quieres? Llegar allí, le partes la cara al fulano, ¿sabes? Bajas la ventanilla, haces el helicóptero y luego te piras. Al CF4 y te piras con toda la carga, ¿o qué? No me jodas, tío. O sea, el TF4, te metes en la cama, te desconectas y te llevas... O sea, tú imagínate, vamos a robar a un tío, le pegamos el palo, tal, pim pam, nos llevamos todo, de repente vienen sus colegas y tal, nos metemos en la cama de la nave y... ¡Ah! No jodas, tío. Eso no puede ser. Estoy a punto de volver los joysticks. Los joysticks tienes que volverlo, Bojito. Que no me has hecho caso el otro día, tío. Tienes que volverlos porque te va a faltar el analógico. Te va a faltar el analógico del índice. Te va a faltar el analógico del índice y al final... al final ya... Es que es eso, tío. Tienes que volver esa mierda, tío. Esos periféricos no son los adecuados para tal. Porque lo he visto antes que lo has puesto ahí. Y ya te digo, no son los adecuados. Es como que estás... o sea... A ver, yo te lo voy a decir de manera para que lo interiorices. Has pillado así el dinero, tío. ¿Sabes? Y le has prendido fuego, tío. No es dos joysticks, Bojito. O sea, es la palanca de gases con el analógico en el índice. Tiene que ser analógico en el índice. Es eso. Si no tienes eso, no. ¿Sabes? Claro, entonces lo que tienes ahora es un pisapapeles, Bojito. Porque sí, para ir para adelante y tal, de puta madre. Pero en el Star Citizen no se va para adelante, se va para arriba, para abajo, izquierda, derecha. O sea, es otro rollo, tío. Lo que va es la palanca de gases. Para mí. Lo que va es la palanca de gases. Ahora, tiene que tener el analógico en el índice. También te digo, el tema de... ¿Cómo se llama? El tema de VKB y esto no está mal, pero el VKB ya son $500 o por ahí que te sale todo los doble joys. Pero es lo que te digo, o sea, devuélvelo, tío, no lo puedes devolver. O sea, no puedes devolver la compra que has hecho, tío, porque es que de verdad que es tirar con el dinero. O sea, empezar con algo que ya no te da la base. O sea, si ya lo tienes, dices, bueno, pues lo usas y es lo que hay. Si ya lo tienes desde hace tiempo, pues dices, bueno, pues, ¿qué le vas a hacer, no? Pues intentas apañar como puedas. Pero ahora, de ya comprarlo nuevo.